Have you ever wondered why Pearl Harbor, a tranquil harbor in Hawaii, became the site of one of the most devastating attacks in American history? Let's take a step back in time to understand the prelude to this infamous event. In the lead-up to the attack, there was a growing friction between the United States and Japan, largely stemming from their competing interests in Chinese markets and Asian resources. As Japan started to flex its imperial muscles, the United States took a principled stand against its expansion. The United States' stance, however, was not just about principles. It was about protecting its own economic interests in the region. This led to a series of economic sanctions and trade embargoes imposed by the US on Japan. These measures, particularly the freezing of Japanese assets and cutting off Japan's access to US oil in July 1941, were a serious blow to Japan's economy and military ambitions. In the backdrop of these escalating tensions, there was also the war in Europe, which was drawing the world's attention and resources. As the United States was inching closer to involvement in this war, Japan saw a window of opportunity to advance its own interests in Asia. In the face of this mounting pressure, Japan began planning a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. The aim was clear and chilling: to cripple the Pacific Fleet. This was not a decision taken lightly. It was a calculated risk, a desperate gamble by Japan to knock the United States off balance, giving Japan free rein to pursue its imperial ambitions in Asia. What followed was an event that changed the course of history, not just for the United States, but for the entire world. In the face of mounting pressure, Japan planned a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, aiming to cripple the Pacific Fleet. December 7, 1941, began like any other day at the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. But before the day ended, it would be remembered as the Day of Infamy. As morning light washed over the Pacific, a surprise attack by Japanese forces jolted the world. The tranquility of the harbor was shattered by the roar of engines and the thunder of explosions. In a meticulously planned assault, Japanese aircraft swooped down on the unsuspecting base, their deadly payloads aimed at the heart of America's Pacific Fleet. The devastation was staggering. Nearly 20 American naval vessels, including 8 imposing battleships, were damaged or destroyed. Over 300 airplanes, their wings still folded in sleep, were left in ruins. The mighty USS Arizona and USS Oklahoma, caught in the crosshairs of the attackers, were sunk, their skeletal remains a haunting testament to the ferocity of the assault. The human cost was even more harrowing. Over 2,400 Americans, sailors, soldiers, and civilians alike, lost their lives. The air was heavy with the scent of burning oil and the echo of their sacrifice. Yet amidst the chaos and destruction, a glimmer of fortune shone through. The most important naval vessels, the aircraft carriers, were not present at the base during the attack. Their absence from the harbor that day would play a pivotal role in the battles to come. A small beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Day of Infamy had forever scarred the American psyche. But it had also ignited a flame of resolve. The United States, a sleeping giant, was now awake. In just a few hours, the tranquil harbor was transformed into a scene of unimaginable destruction. The echoes of that day continue to reverberate, a stark reminder of the cost of unpreparedness and the indomitable spirit of a nation brought to arms. After the smoke cleared, the United States was left to grapple with the aftermath of the attack and plot its response. The devastation was catastrophic. Nearly 20 American naval vessels, over 300 airplanes destroyed or damaged, and more than 2,400 Americans lost their lives. The following day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war on Japan, marking the United States' entry into World War II. As the U.S. reeled from the surprise attack, it became apparent that there were missed warning signs. The conflict between the U.S. and Japan had roots in their competing interests in Chinese markets and Asian resources. The United States had taken a principled stand against Japan's imperial expansion, but failed to take meaningful action. The U.S. had even frozen Japanese assets, cutting off Japan's access to U.S. oil. This prompted Japan to plan a massive military attack on American installations in the Pacific, including Pearl Harbor. But on the day of the attack, President Roosevelt was at the White House, unaware of the imminent danger. The Japanese had launched their surprise attack, causing significant damage. However, they failed to destroy repair shops and fuel oil tanks, and no American aircraft carriers were present. The attack was followed by further attacks on other U.S. and British bases in the Pacific. Despite the initial shock and devastation, the United States managed to fight back, repairing and salvaging many of the damaged ships and using them in combat during the war. The USS Nevada, for instance, despite being hit by one torpedo and at least 6 bombs, was later repaired and served in various roles during World War II. The attack on Pearl Harbor marked a turning point in history, propelling the United States onto the world stage of war. This moment galvanized the nation, transforming the United States from a nation at peace to one fully engaged in a global conflict. It was a defining moment that tested the resilience and resolve of the American people. The aftermath was grim, but the response was swift and decisive. From the ashes of Pearl Harbor, the United States rose, ready to meet the challenges of World War II. Among the vessels damaged in the attack, one ship stands out in our memory, the USS Arizona. This mighty battleship bore the brunt of the Japanese onslaught, becoming a symbol of the tragic events that unfolded on that fateful day in December 1941. The USS Arizona was dealt a devastating blow during the attack. A bomb plummeted from the sky, piercing the deck and igniting the ship's forward ammunition magazine. The resulting explosion was catastrophic, ripping the ship apart and instantly killing more than 1,000 officers and crewmen. In total, 1,177 souls aboard the Arizona perished, accounting for nearly half of all American fatalities that day. The inferno that engulfed the ship raged on relentlessly, burning for 2.5 days after the attack. When the flames finally subsided, the Arizona was a charred and twisted wreck, partially submerged in the shallow waters of Pearl Harbor. This once proud and formidable battleship was reduced to a tomb for those entombed within its hull, their remains forever a part of the ship they served on. But the story of the USS Arizona does not end there. In 1962, a memorial was constructed over the sunken wreck. This solemn monument, straddling the ship without touching it, serves as a place of remembrance, honoring the men who lost their lives on the Arizona. Each year it draws nearly 2 million visitors who come to pay their respects and reflect on the tragic events of December 7, 1941. Today, the USS Arizona lies where she fell, a silent witness to the horrors of war. Her sunken hull, visible just below the surface of the water, serves as a poignant reminder of the lives lost and the price of peace. The ship's bell, which once rang out across the decks of the Arizona, now resides at the University of Arizona, a tangible connection to the ship's storied past. The USS Arizona, a silent witness to the horrors of war, serves as a potent symbol of sacrifice and resilience. Her legacy continues to resonate, a testament to the bravery and dedication of those who served aboard her, and a solemn reminder of the devastating cost of conflict. Nearly a century later, the attack on Pearl Harbor continues to resonate with us. But what lessons can we draw from this tragic event? First and foremost, Pearl Harbor underscores the importance of preparedness in the face of potential threats. The U.S., caught off guard, was unable to effectively counter the surprise attack. Today, the event serves as a stark reminder to always be vigilant and ready for unexpected challenges, whether they be military, political, or even personal. Yet Pearl Harbor also highlights the value of peace and the heavy cost of war. The attack led to the loss of over 2,400 American lives and pushed the country into the depths of World War II, a conflict that would claim the lives of millions. It's a sobering reminder that peace is not just a state of non-violence, it's an active effort to maintain harmony and prevent conflict, an effort we must all partake in. The USS Arizona, now resting beneath the harbor's surface, stands as a symbol of resilience and remembrance. Despite the catastrophe, the ship's guns were salvaged and repurposed for coastal defense, even going on to serve in combat during the war. Today, it's a reminder that even from the ashes of disaster, we can rise and rebuild. Moreover, the USS Arizona Memorial attracts millions of visitors each year, serving as a testament to the heroism of those who served, and a poignant reminder of the lives lost. It's a solemn space of reflection, allowing us to honor the past and contemplate the future. The lessons of Pearl Harbor extend beyond military strategy and historical facts. They touch on the core of our humanity, our capacity for resilience in the face of adversity, our yearning for peace amidst conflict, and our duty to remember and learn from our past. Pearl Harbor reminds us of the profound impact of historical events on our lives and the importance of never forgetting our past.